They were incarcerated for a significant part of their life.
But the true captive mind is yours. This is a podcast about the human side of the people our society demonizes.
Welcome to Captive Audience, a free podcast.
What was one aspect of your life inside, that you were happy or proud of? Or maybe there's nothing.
No, that's not true. One of the things I understood, is that it just amazed me, right? So even though you're in that environment, the jungle, you adapt. Most people adapt to it. And life goes on. And you see people smiling. You see people laughing. You see people having fun. You see that, okay? It happens. But yet, if I were to ask you, I just seen you telling a joke to your friend and you guys having a good time, whatever. But if I was to come up to you and then say, "Oh man, you're having a good time right now," then they would, "Man, what the hell are you talking about? I'm in jail. No, it's just And in my mind, I'm like, "But I just seen you. Look like you're having a good time." So there's a disconnect, right? And for me, it was like, okay, sure, it is that, but it's up to me. Nothing is ever 100% good or bad. So yeah, I can enjoy this. And that was my mission. That was my goal, to enjoy that experience. You know what I mean? And people thought I was crazy, but yeah, but I did. You know what I mean? Because, I don't know why I did. It worked.
That's good. That seems very challenging.
Yeah, trust me. It was challenging.
Take your word for it. So, how's the reentry process for life like?
Systematic, robotic. There's a lot of money that's been thrown into space. Okay. And so you have these agencies, these services, but it's just like, checking a box or just, and then again, without much expectation, it's for me, unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to see it, I'm a little bit of a different breed, and I'm marching to a different beat. And, I had a plan, I had goals, and as far as the services that they provide, and I'm always interested in it, really, because it's like, again, it's menial type, jobs or assistance, and it's like, that will keep you in the system. That's not going to help you get out and achieve and evolve, if you're just going to, no. So, I'm like, yeah, I paid lip service to it. Yeah, we offer this and but it's a good thing. I got to throw this plug in there for starting over, incorporated to, I currently work for, that I came across them, a nonprofit organization, headed by Vanya Corals. They are really in this space and making a change, even though they're small and upcoming, but, they really gave me a hand up in my situation, yes.
What is the biggest difference you notice when you got out?
So you got to picture this. I got out March 20th, 2020, and COVID had locked down like 3-4 days prior to. Oh, no. So I get dropped off in Fresno, and it looked like the world had ended. And I'm like, what the hell? Every now and then you would see someone walking down the street, but I wasn't sure if they're the Walking Dead or what, because it was crazy. It was insane. I had been gone all these years, can't wait to get back to society and see, the hustle and bustle of the city and everything, and total opposite, just desolate.
When was the last time you were outside, like before?
I was incarcerated in 2005. 2005. Yeah.
That's a big change.
Oh, yeah. It's night and day. It's like, it was unreal. Literally. I could not.
Did you know about COVID?
Well, yeah, I watched the news and I listened to NPR and I knew what's going on in the world. but it was so new, sure, COVID, and it was, cases are ramping up and things. But when they said lockdown, I didn't literally think that everyone was going to be locked inside. I just assumed, I don't know what I assumed, but I was happy, and I really didn't, think too much. All I knew is that, I was getting released.
So I mean, you got released into this like Walking Dead type of world, right? So how did you get a job? How did you,
Well, good thing about it is I was going to a halfway house in Rubidoux, Riverside, California, right? And where you're supposed to stay there for they give you a certain period of time, right? And anyway, I was supposed to stay there 6 months. But when I went there, we went on lockdown. So we were on lockdown. So all the things, the advantages, so it's it helps you, get your license and just sort of like a little, they help you get established, re-enter society. But there was literally no society to re-enter, so everything was shut down, and it was incredible.
So how do you think, do you think the prison system was beneficial to you, or?
Do I think the prison system was beneficial to me? As odd as this may sound, I'm going to say yes to that question, but not for the reasons why anyone may think. My thing is this. When you're in life, in the world, a lot of people are just on automatic. They're like little hamsters on this wheel. They're stressing. They're just trying to keep up, and they're just, and when you're in the thick of things, it's hard to see a lot of times. So being removed from that, changed my perspective on a lot of things, because I was able to take a wide view of life. Okay. And really, figure it out, and I just think that, if you're constantly grinding, a lot of people didn't have the time that I had to really reflect. Okay. And, and that's what I told myself. I was like, you know what? People would kill to have the time that I have to, do whatever. I was like, I used to tell guys man, if you want to be the world's foremost, authority on rocks, you got the time to do it. You got 25 years. You can figure this shit out. Okay. So, and that's the way I look at it. I was like, man, nothing's 100%, right? It's a totally bad situation, but there are some good, elements of it. And that was my job. I was tasked with feeling, okay, what is the good in this? And I extracted it. I did, so in that sense, it was beneficial for me.
What is something that you're proud of, or some things that you're proud of now?
I'm glad you asked that. So what I did while I was incarcerated, for the last 10 years of my incarceration, I have a relative, a cousin, who's a network engineer. He's actually a network architect, excuse me, Ken. But that's all he's ever done. So for 10 years, he would send me books, okay, on computer networks. And, again, I'm on this time thing. I was like, man, I got time. I can read this shit. But it took me a year to read the first book, and then I read it again, and it only took 6 months. Then I read it again, and it only took 3 months, and then it slowly, then I was ready for another book. And then that's how I progressed and proceeded, throughout my incarceration, the rest of my time. So, and when I got out, now this is 10 years since I started studying this stuff and never knew anything about computer networks. Okay. But once I got out, and it was all, I don't know if you're familiar with, ever heard of systems, but as far as networking, they're like the 800-pound gorilla in that space. Okay. Sort of like Microsoft in software space, they dominate, but, you walk into any corporation, they're going to have some equipment in there. But So I was studying their playbook basically on their equipment. And so, long story short, once I got out, I took their exam, and was certified, as a networking engineer. You know what I mean? So I am proud of that. I'm proud of that. It's been rough getting established in that field, because there's other challenges, but it will too be done.
Have you thought, because you had to appeal your own case, have you thought about law?
Yes and no. It's boring. I can't do it. It's boring. It is. I have a good friend, Chinese guy, and he had a 72-year sentence, a RICO sentence, and it took him 20 years, but he got it reversed. And he's a beast in law, and we were, pretty close. But I couldn't do it. I don't know how he did it, but I guess when you're fighting for your life and they did you wrong, you'll figure it out. But I wasn't as good as he was by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just a lot of work, and it's tedious, boring work to me.
What's your life like right now with your community? Do you have family near? Do you friends?
So my social life is it's pretty good. Yeah, I have family. I have my mom and she lives with my younger brother, and he takes care of her because she has dementia. And, I live in Eastvale, so it's relatively close, and, I get to visit them often. My main family, or the rest of my family, lives in Long Beach still. And they're, everyone is doing well, and it makes me feel good that, they still love me and they didn't forget about me, So me and my sister, we're always doing something, once every month or 2 months, whatever we go, do events. Love life is pretty good right now. It was a bit challenging during COVID, but everything is picking up, So my social, I'm happy. Yeah.
Did you ever do? I know that some people, when they're inside, they do like pen pals, and find girlfriends that way. Did you ever do that?
No. Just, and I know this is going to sound, but I'm like, my mind was like this. I was like, okay, all the beautiful people are out there, and if a woman is searching in here for a man, she's probably not something that I'm really going to be interested in, okay? So I was like, and guys do it, but, for recreation or whatever. And, a lot of it, they're trying to get money and it's a game, whatever. But I'm like, I'm not interested in a woman, why would she want me? I'm in fucking jail.
What was the best day of your life?
Wow. I never thought about that question before. That's... Yeah, man, that's a tough one. I mean, it's hard to choose, and it's probably not the obvious one that comes to mind either. Give me another question. I'm gonna think about that one. Because I don't want to shortchange that answer.
How has your community impacted your personal identity now that you're out?
My community. So my community is in this nonprofit, prison reform space, starting over incorporated. It's become I wasn't planned, but I don't know how this all happened, but, so I spend a lot of time in, talking to people that are disadvantaged in this space. And so it's really, in a roundabout way, it's a very positive thing because it sort of helps me stay grounded on what I'm doing and where I came from. And, so I'm staying in touch, with people that, I've been in their shoes. So I'm helping and giving back. And when I do that, it's like, it helps me to stay on point with, my goals and my dreams. And so it's crazy how that all happened. But yeah, So it's very supportive. Okay. I'm going to go back to the other question.
Okay.
So,
Best day of your life?
yeah. And I might say happiest day.
Okay.
Same thing?
Sure.
Okay. So, my mom, she had 6 kids, and no one graduated from high school. Okay. And at a certain point, it was like, you know what? I don't like school. I don't care about all that stuff. I like to play football, basketball. That was cool, but just didn't really have any. I didn't apply myself, just to say that I was too caught up in other things. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to be the first to graduate. I'm going to be the first. And I did. It was rough. It was crazy, but I did it. And I remember walking across that stage, and my family was there. I felt happy. I did. It was, that I achieved, that I, through all, we don't have enough time, but it was not easy to, I got kicked out of school a few times, and they accepted me back, and I had to go fight the district one time to get back in. But yeah, it was crazy, the things that happened. I even had an argument with the principal because they said I wasn't going to graduate, but I wanted to graduate so bad that I was keeping track of my credits and everything, so I knew the criteria that it took to graduate. And we got in a fight, and we took it to the office, and they were wrong. So that sense of accomplishment was even heightened further by everything that I went through to get to that point. So, and plus my family, crazy, but yeah.
How do you, if you were to describe yourself now, taking into account everything that you've gone through in life, how would you describe yourself? Yeah.
Resilient, grateful, just really, the basics, okay, core principles, it's not all about the flashy things in life with me anymore. It's just, family, friends, and being a good person, and doing the right thing. Just doing the right thing. That's all I want to do. It's just the right thing. So, there's a lot of crazy things and flashy things going on in the world, but, I've sort of my whole default has been reset, and it's back to just simple principles, So I'm just a regular Joe these days.
Thank you for listening to Captive Audience, a free podcast.
Hosted by Margot Cohen.
And Dana Villaseñor. I would like to thank our guests, as well as the Gould Center for Humanistic Studies at Claremont McKenna College. And remember, challenge your apathy.